right, welcome back, students. Today, the topic for this week is to solve and graph an inequality on a number line. So, in order to get here, to graph an inequality on a number line, you really got to know these rules. So get these rules into your notebook. If you don't have them in your notebook, hit pause to this video and get them in there now. Okay. So, first thing you got to know, the less than sign correlates with an open circle whenever you're graphing it on the number line, and it points to the left, okay? And sometimes you'll also see the less than correlated with a dotted line. Whenever you graph that, like say into Desmos or something like that, you'll see a dotted line. Or if you graph it on a coordinate plane, you'll see the dotted line correlated with the less than, okay? And the greater than is also an open circle, and it points to the right, and it's also a dotted line when you graph it into Desmos. Okay. So then here, our less than or equal to, this is when we start getting our closed dots. So our closed circles. Our closed circles point to the left. A little trick here is, look where the inequality sign is going. Look, it looks like an arrowhead. It's pointing to the left. All right. Again, a greater than or equal to is a closed circle, and it points to the right, because look at that. It looks like an arrowhead that's pointing to the right. Very important rule. The arrow points the same direction as the inequality sign. So that little trick that I was telling you about. So get that into your notes. All right, let's solve example 1 here. Example 1, we're going to solve it and graph it. So step 1 is always solve the inequality. So first, let's solve this inequality. All right, we have a minus 4. We're going to do the inverse property here with the constant, which is plus 4. What you do to one side, you've got to do to the other. Your 4's cancel. 16 plus 4, we get 20. Bring down your inequality sign, bring down your 2x. All right, last step here. We want to get x all by itself, so we got to divide by 2 because it's being multiplied by 2. So we do the opposite, which is division. Our 2's cancel. X is less than or equal to 10. So that is the solution to this inequality. So that's step 1. I'm going to show you how to graph it now. This is step 2. Step 2, you make this number line. Right in the middle, you put the number that you found, 10. And then step 2, you really got to think, what is this? Is this going to be open or closed circle? So you look at the inequality sign that you have. And that is a less than or equal to. So that's going to be a closed circle right here above 10. And then the next thing you got to know is, which way is this arrow going to point? It's going to point in the same way as this inequality sign. So it's going to point to the left. Okay? So we solved that inequality and we graphed it. So that's it. That's it for number 2. All right. All right, that's it for number 1. All right, now example 2. Example 2, now we're going to solve this inequality. But notice, before we get moving anything around, we gotta distribute. So let's get rid of these parentheses by distributing. So 2 times negative 3x, that's negative 6x. 2 times 2 times 2 is a positive 4. So bring down your inequality sign, which is a greater than. Over here we got a 22. So let's just do some math now. Now it looks like a nice 2-step equation. So plus 4, let's do minus 4. What you do to one side, you got to do to the other. Your 4's cancel. 22 minus 4 gives us 18. Bring down your inequality sign. Bring down your negative 6x. All right, last step here. But be careful, because notice we got a negative 6x. Whenever you have a negative number in this last step where you're going to separate the variable, whenever you divide by a negative number, like I'm doing right here, the sign is going to flip. So x is now less than negative 3. So that is the solution to this equation. Now I'm just going to graph that real quick. Again, you just make a number line. Let's make a number line. So we did step 1, solving it. Step 2, make a number line. Put the number that you found right in the middle, negative 3. And then we're going to ask ourselves, is it open or closed circle? Well, it's a less than sign, so look at your notes. Less than is a open circle that points to the left. So So I'm gonna put an open circle pointed to the left. So there we go. That's how we graph an inequality. So first you solve it, then you graph it. All right, that's it. Hopefully that helped. See you guys later.